Well, let's return to the big story of the day, the overhaul of the RBA. This would see employment, full employment, become an official target along with inflation. There'd also be a second board set up just to deal with monetary policy. To discuss this and other big news in the United States, let's bring in the Australian newspaper's Washington correspondent, Adam Crichton. So great to see you, Adam. Firstly, what's your view of the RBA recommendations? And we should point out that you used to work at the RBA.
Well, look, I think it's fairly marginal, really. I mean, the RBA already has hundreds of economists who are looking at this issue all the time, thinking about it all day, and this is just going to create a new board, another 10 people, if you like, paid by taxpayers when we already have a Reserve Bank board. There's really no evidence, if you look around the world, that having more experts are necessarily going to make better decisions. I mean, of course, experts got the global financial crisis wrong. They got many aspects of COVID wrong. So I do understand why the government's doing this. There's a political perception that Phil Lowe made a big error, and so they needed to do something. And so this is what they've done. They're going to change things. But at the end of the day, it's really not going to change the outcome very much. And indeed, the press conferences that they're thinking of having could actually confuse the markets, because you end up the governor saying something that he didn't want to say, and that confuses things. And so I think there was some virtue in actually not having a press conference, but that's just my personal view.
All right. Well, former PM Kevin Rudd today met Joe Biden, this officially beginning his posting as Australia's ambassador to the US, one of the single worst decision Anthony Albanese has made as Prime Minister. Rudd brushed off suggestions that he might have some enemies in the US. Look, how would this work if Trump did get back into the White House?
Well, look, certainly when Rudd was appointed back in December, the polls were suggesting that Trump had no chance. But the reality is now he's the front runner for the nomination, and the Republican Party will eventually rally around him, even if they don't want to. And that's certainly going to make things awkward for our ambassador, who has called Trump a traitor and used all sorts of extreme words. And so I really think that Rudd would be certainly much regretting some of those statements, which will be remembered by the Republican Party.
Yeah, I noticed today that in that brief press conference that he had with his wife, Therese, outside the White House, he announced that Joe Biden was going to be visiting Australia in the next few months. I think that's already a faux pas, because that's the sort of announcement that Australian prime ministers would like to make when a US president is coming to visit here. But Rudd has stolen Albanese's thunder.